things may be the craziest in the northwest part of the country, but in Washington, they're not that much better. Congresswoman Maxine Waters has moved on from predicting President Trump's impeachment to claiming that it's appalling that impeachment hasn't occurred already.
I believe this president should be impeached. I don't care what others say about it's too soon, we don't know, we think. I think that they're letting the American public down by not delving deeper into what is going on with Jared Kushner and this back-channeling about the lies and his failure to disclose that he had had these meetings. The same thing with Sessions, failure to disclose about the meetings. What more do we need?
Don Calloway is a Democratic strategist and former state representative from Missouri, and he joins us in studio. Don, thanks a lot for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So what more do we need? I don't know, facts?
I think she's armed with plenty of facts, and I think she's presenting a substantial case that the House should probably begin with the sincere and the vigorous investigative proceedings that could possibly lead to impeachment. I certainly am not calling for the president's impeachment, but I don't think that she or Congressperson Al Green from Houston, Texas, are completely out of line for suggesting that that's probably potentially in the universe of what could happen at this point.
She's saying, she's not just calling for it, she's demanding it. She's saying we already know what we know, and of course we don't know any such thing. And she's saying that the American people will be disappointed. Now, I guess why this jumped out at me is because she has a documented history of applauding mob violence, race violence, during the LA riots 25 years ago. And so statements like that strike me as kind of scary when they come from someone who, you know, applauded the beating of Reginald Denny, as she in effect did.
Well, we don't know that she, I'm well aware of the Denny things, and we know that she visited with the young man who did what he did that led to Reginald Denny's death years later. We know that she did visit with his family, and I'm not defending that action by Congresswoman Waters 25 years ago because it's indefensible. But the reality is that for those of us who participate in the public sphere, like you and I do, over a substantial amount of time, we all have some things that we probably wish we hadn't said, done, or participated in, and I'm sure she would like to have a get back. But she does have a substantial record.
Is there any evidence of that? I mean, I guess that's the thing.
But she has a substantial record of public service as a civil rights advocate, as a civil liberties advocate, and as a consumer protection advocate that has pushed this country to a better place.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any of that history at all. Well, I know she came really close to an ethics charge because apparently her husband got rich based on government policy.
No, that's not true. She was investigated by the ethics committee, and it's good that you bring that up because she was completely cleared of any wrongdoing. And essentially that's all.
By her peers.
No, by her peers in Congress. And essentially that's what she's asking that President Trump do is submit to a proper inquiry, ethics inquiry, and have the opportunity to present his side and be exonerated just like she was. No wrongdoing.
So what, I mean, I guess I'll just make 2 points. One, I'm worried that she has become a folk hero on the left because she is so intemperate and unhinged and outrageous and willing to say anything, and because she's a hater, and they're looking for a hater now to represent them.
Now, you know I'm not going to agree with that, Tucker. I think that she has a lot of the appeal that President Trump has to his base, which is that she's willing to say things objectively and in a very blunt way without a lot of the kind of circumspect politician speak.
Objectively?
Well, she's willing to be very blunt about her positions, and much in the way that President Trump had appealed to his base.
Yeah, you said that she, and look, I believe in forgiveness, by the way, and I'm a flawed person, and some of my closest friends are very flawed people.
Including me.
Yeah, but look, when you go and applaud what she applauded, and she went, and when the other defendants were acquitted in the beating of Reginald Denny, was delivering building materials for low-income housing. I mean, the guy was totally innocent except he was the wrong color and he was beaten almost to death. She's never apologized for that I know of.
Again, we're not defending anything that
But shouldn't she?
We're not defending what the guys did.
Robert Byrd was a Klan recruiter, okay? He was the longest-serving Democratic senator. He apologized, and, you know, and I, for one, was willing to say, you apologize? Okay, we can move on, but she never has.
I don't know that she hasn't, frankly, but I do know that we should extend to Maxine Waters the same grace that we've extended to that we've asked that we extend to the Attorney General, who was deemed too racist to be a federal judge in the 1980s. We should extend to her the same grace that we extend to the president, who is objectively advocated for sexual assault of women over the years and has participated in racist activity documented from the 1970s up through now when he led the birther movement. Yeah. So we should, all of us are flawed.
I mean, look, you know, we're talking about Maxine Waters here.
We are,
and
but we have to hold her to the same standard.
Uncritically accepted by the left precisely because of her lunacy. Well, and I guess I would challenge your assertion that she's got an impressive legislative record. I've been here almost the entire time she's been here. Well, I don't know that there are a lot of Waters bills that are improving my life, are there?
Absolutely. Listen, my firm participates vigorously in the financial services space and in the corporate finance space, and she has absolutely been a leader, a bipartisan leader on consumer protection, has put this country in a much better place so that corporations, banks don't take advantage of you and I and the little guys, and I think she's very proud. She should be very proud.
Well, I thought her husband was getting rich from a bank.
Again, that did not happen. She was cleared of any wrongdoing.
He didn't get rich from that?
One United Bank in Los Angeles, her husband was on the board of trustees. One United was one of the dozens of thousands of banks throughout this country which participated in the temporary asset relief program.
Right.
And she was absolutely correct and cleared by any congressional ethics probe that she did no wrongdoing in that. He did not get rich. He's on the board of trustees. Should they not have participated in the same program that thousands of banks in this country, community banks that help little people?
If your family's profiting, you should recuse yourself.
That's not what happened. She was found not to have done any wrongdoing. So,
final point. Would you say that if she's coming out there and calling for the President of the United States impeachment less than 6 months after his election in a free and fair democratic election, that she should at least give a bullet points of the crimes she alleges he's committed, and she hasn't?
Well, I think that she has alleged the same things that people on both parties have said, is that we need to have a free and open and fair inquiry into a number of things that rise to the level of being objectively questionable.
Okay.
The back channels with Russia, the continued ongoing meetings with Russia that were not on the record.
None of that's a crime.
But we need to talk about it, and we need to have a free and fair investigative process.
That's all we're talking about.
But we need to have a sanctioned investigative process. So,
Don, thanks.
Always a pleasure, Tucker. Thank you.
Jared Kushner is